This is Bitcoin Vegas, and that's what I get. How you guys doing? There we go. I'm gonna take an hour, just like Brian Johnson did. Are you guys okay with that? Okay. So my name's Naeem, and I'm a peak performance strategist. Thank you. Yes, right? A minute. I'm done. So I'm a peak performance strategist. How many of you guys consider yourselves to be peak performers in your life, in your business? Anybody? Awesome. How many of you don't know what a peak performer is? Thank you for your honesty. And how many of you aren't going to raise your hands no matter what I say today? Yes, there you go. Thank you very much. So I've been privileged to work with Tony Robbins, the leading authority on leadership, negotiation, and peak performance. I've also been privileged to work with over probably like 500 business owners across the United States. I've worked with companies as big as Salesforce and JP Morgan to tiny mom and pop real estate shops in the middle of Wisconsin. And what was really cool about this is I got to model some of the most successful people and businesses in the world. And I also got to connect and learn with all types of people with all different types of belief systems and values, which was probably the coolest skill I got to learn. So I love that you guys all showed up here today. And what that tells me is all of you know deep down inside, there's another level. And I want to acknowledge each and every one of you for being here and for showing up. So I've always learned to ask this question: what determines our success and failure? Write this down or take a note. Our patterns. Our what? Patterns, yeah. Now, can anybody tell me what a pattern is? What's a pattern? What would you say?
Something that repeats itself.
Yes. Hey, Brian, how you doing, man? Good to see you. So a pattern is like a habit. Now, we all have some good habits in here. Who's got good habits? Yes, Josh, awesome, cool. Chris, you got some good habits. There he is, my man. So how many of you, did you guys brush your teeth today? Anybody work out today? Who sleeps at the right time every single night like Brian Johnson? Anybody? Okay, we'll get there maybe, right? So how many of you have bad habits? Who's got some bad habits? I'll raise 2 hands. Yes. I appreciate your honesty. I need everybody to stand up for just a minute. I'm going to show you an example, okay? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want everybody to hold your hands apart just like this for 6 inches apart. Awesome, cool, nice, amazing, cool. Josh, 6 inches, my man. There you go, right? His hands are like this far apart. So now when I say 1, 2, 3, go, I want you to clap your hands together. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Hey, I didn't say go. Now I know it's a silly example, but you see how quickly we just learned a what? A pattern, yeah. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to clasp your hands together, just like my friend here, intermingling your fingers. Ready? Go. Cool. Now, the latest research shows that if your left thumb's over your right thumb, who's got their left thumb over the right thumb? Everybody. Awesome. Not everybody. Who does? Cool. There you go. That means you're creative, you're incredibly sexy, and you're an amazing lover. There you go, my man, right? No switching your thumbs in the back. I see it. Now, who's got right over left? Awesome. What's your name? Jennifer. Thank you. So if you got your right over your left, that means you're the logical thinker of the group, and you're most likely to become a billionaire. Okay? Now, I know you guys are thinking, do you want the sex or the money? Yes? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep your fingers the same, but just switch your thumbs over. How does that feel? Weird, awkward, uncomfortable? How come? I broke your what? Your pattern. Now here's the question. Sometimes do your patterns get so ingrained in you that you just begin to run on autopilot? True? But what happens if our patterns are taking us in a direction we no longer want to go? What if they're taking us down a road that isn't producing the results that someone with your level of skill, knowledge, and talent deserves to be producing? Because when your knowledge comes up against your habits, they always win. Always. So today, in the next 10 minutes, do I have your permission to take you to the end of your comfort zone? Yes? All right, have a seat, you sexy billionaires. Now, and this is really what my mission is. I love talking about a moonshot. I love how Brian Johnson had so much conviction, and it's not only about health for him, it's about how we can handle the coming of superintelligence and also raise our consciousness. My mission, I think most of the problems in the world will be solved if we are able to learn how to upgrade our operating system up here. The most important technology in the world is not blockchain, it's not AI. It's this. Because if you don't know how to use this and upgrade this, AI is gonna run you over, all of us over, if we don't know how to upgrade this. And if you don't know how to use this, you're not gonna use technology like social media or Bitcoin, it's gonna use you. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna share with you some cool stuff on how you could regularly optimize and upgrade your operating system. Because how often do you update your apps on your phone? Every week, 2 weeks? How often do you update your OS on your iPhone? Every maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they come out with a new OS. Does anybody in here have an intentional practice on upgrading their mindset? I'm curious, anybody? Devin does, awesome, cool. Anybody else? Josh, awesome, nice. Awesome, cool, amazing. So what I found working with the best of the best is there's 3 major pillars to create extraordinary results in your life. Do you guys want to know what they are? Say yes. Yes. All right, cool. Now here's the other thing. Here's the reason I'm asking, like, yes, right? It sounds cheesy and feels weird. There's 2 types of learning. There's active learning and there's passive learning. Which is the better one to do? Active. Most people, they're passive, right? And passive is, if you want a metaphor, passive is like traditional finance. Active is like blockchain, right? You're in the moment, you're engaged, you're feeling it, you're there, you're present, and you're not just kind of like letting information go in one ear and out the other, okay? So the 3 pillars, the first one is strategies. So, and this is your business plan, your plan of action. When somebody wants to get in shape, what do? They're like, oh, what's the best workout? What's the best nutrition program? Even Brian Johnson. The reason people don't do what they might want to do if they follow Brian Johnson's protocol is not because they don't know what to do. It's written down everywhere. It's open source. It's because we're not operating this at the highest level. But strategies are where people go first. True? Right? We want to grow our business, get more leads, we go to the strategy. But not everybody takes action on the strategy. Now the second pillar is action. And we all know how important action is, but even with that, most people don't do what they know. So the third pillar is the most important one, and that is your mindset. 90% of your success in your life and your business, it's your mindset. It's the ability to unlock and unleash, to transform, and have an unstoppable mental attitude, okay? So let's look at this together as a team, because if we play as a team, we win as a team, true? So on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like Bitcoin hit $1 million this year, and you're celebrating, and bless you, and 1 being like Bitcoin goes back down to like 10,000, which might be good too, because you could buy some more at a better price, but 1 is not a good score. So think of 1 result you want to produce in your professional life, and 1 result you want to produce in your personal life, okay? I'll give you 2 more seconds to think about it. And on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you playing right now based on where you want to be in that area of your life? And you could do it for both. Do 1 for your professional, 1 for your personal. So I'm going to ask you guys to raise your hands. Who here is playing at a 1 or 2? Anybody playing at a 1 or a 2? You guys got the question, yes? All right. What's that? 1 or 2 out of 10, exactly. And here's the thing. Don't be embarrassed about your score. If you ask Kobe Bryant back in the day, it's like, how would you rate yourself at basketball? We all know he was a 10. What do you think Kobe would say about himself? Yeah, Brian would be like, I know Brian would probably give himself a low score too. Brian's crushing it, but even, right? So it's not about how good you actually are doing. It's about also your standards and the vision you have to where you want to go, okay? So I'm going to repeat, okay? So who's playing at a 1 or a 2? Anybody 1 or 2? Cool. Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate it. Anybody playing at a 3 or 4? Any 3s or 4s? Awesome. Anybody 5 or 6? Awesome. And anybody 7 or 8? Awesome. And 9 or 10? Anybody 9 or 10? Cool. So as a team on average, what would you say we are on average based on the hands that went up? 3s, 4s, 5s. Cool. Let's go with the higher standard. Let's say you're a 3, okay? So I have some really good news for you. If you guys are playing at a 3 or below, all that tells me is you're leaving 70% of your potential out there every day. Now, if there was ever a time you couldn't afford to do that, it's now, true? So I'm going to show you how to break through that in a short period of time, hopefully. But you could also talk to me after. So now I have a serious question for you, though. If you're not playing at the level you want, why? What's getting in the way? Anybody want to share? What's that?
Golf is hard.
What?
Golf is hard.
Golf is hard. Okay, cool. Yes. Yep. What? Patterns, absolutely, Brian. Yep. What else? Yes.
I get lazy about not the main things in my life, but the smaller things. I get lazy. I don't want to focus on them because I'm too locked in on something else.
Thank you for sharing. What's your name?
Parker.
Parker, awesome. Anybody else feel lazy sometimes? I do. And the people that, Parker, the people that didn't raise their hands, they're all too lazy to even admit it. Okay? How about you, my man? Somebody, Josh, how about you? I'll get you next. Sorry, Josh.
Limiting beliefs.
Limiting beliefs, absolutely, yeah. Any specific limiting beliefs?
Not a specific one.
Cool.
I can't do this or I can't do that or that's too difficult.
Yep.
Far away.
Spot on, yeah. Anybody else feel like they have some limiting beliefs? Yep. How about you, man?
I was going to say persistent convictions. I tried Brian Johnson's stuff, and I was like, not going to work for me. So it's like that conviction.
So no conviction, lack of conviction. Yep, thank you. What's your name?
Ivan.
Aiden? Cool. Anybody here procrastinate? Anybody procrastinate? Thank you for honesty, guys. And the people that didn't raise their hands, they'll do it tomorrow. Yeah? So what's one more? Anybody else have something else? What else is getting in the way? What's holding you back? Yeah, who said that? Yeah, absolutely. They're everywhere, right? Cool. So, guys, I have some news for you. All this stuff that we just said, I have a very scientific term for what it really is. It's called your BS. And what does BS stand for? This guy says bullshit. It's your belief systems. Thank you for playing with me, though, right? Because why would someone produce amazing results in their life, in their business, while the person sitting right next to them or just in the business next to them is crushing it? Why do some people have loving, amazing, passionate, intimate relationships and other people, they can never find the way? And why do some people, they always find the way, they go to the gym, they eat right, they exercise daily, and other people can never find the time? Why do some people always find a reason they can, others always find a reason they? Absolutely. What's the difference that makes the difference? So all those answers you guys said, they're correct, I agree too, but the one answer that drives all those answers, it's your BS, your belief systems. Because all human behavior, it's belief driven. Behind every action you take, there's a belief. How you feel about any given subject, that determines your thoughts. Those thoughts influence your decisions, and your decisions, they determine your actions or your lack of actions, which ultimately determines your results. So if this is true, what's the definition of a belief? How would you define a belief? What would you say? Anybody have a response? What do you think? Yeah.
Some kind of core value you resonate with.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Anybody else? What do you think?
Something you think is true.
Something you think is true. Parker, you said that? Awesome. So a belief is a feeling of absolute certainty. I got an ice cube in my mouth. Sorry, guys. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty you have about something. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty you have about something. There's two kinds of beliefs. And we've all heard this before, empowering and limiting beliefs, yes? I'm curious, who has a belief they know with certainty that they feel very confident about that's an empowering belief? Anybody have one? Yes. What do you believe?
The more you work out, you have more muscle, so therefore you can actually eat more because muscles go naturally burn. So you should work out.
Cool. And does that help you work out more?
It does.
Nice. Awesome. Anybody have a strong conviction that they're sexy? Brian, look at him. He knows. He knows. Anybody? All right, that's too much. Sorry, guys. Yes, my man over there. Cool. Awesome. Anybody have a strong belief system that they're smart? Parker? Awesome. How do you know you're smart? Test scores. Okay. What, any other ways you know?
Usually end up getting what I want.
Cool. Awesome. Nice. So this is what's cool. Beliefs, they're subjective, right? If I think I'm smart, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Maybe some people think Parker's an idiot, right? But the way to either install or deinstall a belief, this goes to updating your operating system, is to question it. Because if you actually, and lawyers do a great job at this, right, Josh? When lawyers put somebody and they ask people on a stand, they question people, right? And they produce doubt. So if you have anybody have a limiting belief that is kind of bothering them or getting in their way? Anybody want to share? No? Yeah, how about you? What's your name? Julian, how about, yeah? You feel guilty about leaving your job? Okay, thank you for sharing. What makes you feel guilty about that?
Business will fail if I'm not there. I'm a bar manager.
Uh-huh.
And the owners don't know how to bartend.
Okay.
And I don't think they can install someone else to do what I do
Yep.
without knowing how to do it themselves.
Okay. Did you leave, so why are you here?
So eventually leave.
Oh, but is it your business?
No.
Ah, okay. So you feel guilty leaving the job because you think it's going to fail. Do you know that's true?
To some extent.
For a fact.
85% certainty, yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So is that limiting you? In what ways is that limiting you?
Seeking other opportunities for myself.
Okay. And do you want to change that?
I'm here.
Yeah, awesome. So so how can you actually, so what you have, right, you have these stories, right? Another way of saying beliefs is stories, right? We all have stories and you want to uncover it, which is why I'm asking you questions to understand more, right? So what you could do is start to question those things, because I don't even know if it's really true that if you did leave the job that it would fail. And you also don't know with 100% certainty also, right? So one thing you might want to do is question those beliefs that are limiting you, and also start to create new reference experiences to actually why it actually won't happen and how it's going to be better for you and everybody involved. Does that make sense? And this is where, again, it just takes a little introspection and reflection to literally like sit down and like spend, I do what I call thinking time. Anybody ever do like thinking time? Where it's like, not like over-analyzing things, where you actually sit down with a pen and a paper and you like focus your concentration and attention on one problem. And you ask one question and then you write about it, right? So you could maybe do some thinking time on that. Maybe question that limiting belief and then be like, hey, what's a more empowering belief that's gonna make me do more of what I wanna do? And then look for reference experiences like Parker as to why that's gonna be good, because that's gonna pull you to do it. Make sense? Cool. Because all of us were emotionally driven, and if you actually stack the emotion towards where you wanna go, it's gonna pull you. Cool? So let's do a quick exercise before I wrap, because everything comes down to your emotions, and if you can't manage your emotional state, you're screwed. Because then one person can come up to you and say, you have purple eyes, or you're ugly, and it'll ruin your day, right? But we don't want the external world to influence how we feel. We want what to influence how we feel? Just our own internal being, true? So real quick before you stand up, what are the 3 ways to determine how you feel? Anybody want to, what do you think? How do you manage how you feel? What do you think? Introspection, cool. So like thinking. Yep. What's your name?
I'm Brett.
Brett, cool. What else? What's another way? Yes.
Are you currently in the present, so still thinking about what just happened? So,
Cool. And how do you stay in the present?
I do a lot of meditation, so I try to focus this on what am I doing now.
Cool. Awesome. So just practicing being still.
Right, and not thinking, get my, what just happened to drag me away, and I know that creates all kinds of emotion when I should be focusing.
Awesome. Cool. So there's 3 ways. Number 1, it's your focus, right? Our thinking and our thoughts. And to control your focus, it's about asking questions. It's kind of like prompting AI. If you ask it a good prompt, you'll obviously get a good response from the language model. But most of us, we're not asking good prompts. We're asking, why doesn't this work? Why am I so fat? Why does my life suck? Right? The second one is our language patterns, externally and internally. We all have voices in our heads, not just me, right? We all talk to ourselves, and we want to take control of that too. Now, the third one is the most important one. That's your physiology. If you want to change the way you feel the quickest, change your physiology. Most people try to change the way they're feeling by thinking about it, and that's probably not the best way to do it. That's why people run in loops and they stay stuck. Make sense? So let's do a quick exercise to wrap this up. Everybody stand up. So here's what we're going to do. I want everybody, I want you to take your left hand out like this. Cool. Now I want you to imagine your life in the next 12 months. I want you to imagine how much money you're going to make, the impact you're going to have on your business, the relationships you're going to deepen with your family, okay, and your friends. Now take your right hand back like this. Now I'm going to ask you a question. When I do, you're going to answer yes and grab that picture with enthusiasm. Got it? Awesome. Cool. Are you going to make this the best 12 months of your life? Yes! Awesome. Cool. Now on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being absolutely comatose dead and 10 shaking this building so they can hear us in the Venetian, where would you rate the energy level of that clap, everybody? 3. 3. What do you think, Brian? 3. Parker, 5. What do you think, Josh? 4. 4. What do you think, Chris? 8. Chris always gives good scores. He's like 10. How about you, Chris? What do you think? Yeah, right? So let's give it like a 5, okay? So if we could have, so we all played it a 5. If we could have played it a 10, what are beliefs and patterns made it okay for you to play it a 10 and a 5? Because how you do anything in life is how you do everything, true? Yeah. So what beliefs and patterns showed up? Similar ones that we mentioned earlier, true? Now, I believe you guys have a level 10, or you do? Yes? Yeah. And we believe in second chances, don't you? Yeah. Awesome. So let's do it again, but this time, it's going to be massively different, all right? I'm going to ask you 3, yeah, right? I'm going to ask you 3 questions. How many questions? 3. The first one, you go, yes! The second one, yes! And the third one, you go, yes, 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 yes! Whoa, yes! Some of you guys are like, well, no. Now listen, only a little self-confidence group can do this. Do I have this group here? Yeah. Awesome. Here we go. There you go. I love this man, right? So take a deep breath in. Close your eyes if you want. Now imagine in the next 12 months, you're making the money that someone with your level of skill, knowledge, and talent deserves to be making. You're growing your business, you're crushing it in your career, you're spending that loving quality time with your family and your friends and the people you care about most. And imagine the impact you're going to have and the ripple effect it's going to have. And your body's in the best shape of your life. Now I'm going to take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Open your eyes. Take your left hand out like this. Take your right hand back. Are you guys going to make this the best of your life? Yes! Are you going to step up? Yes! Are you going to break your limiting beliefs? Yes! 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 Now in this state, would you break through any beliefs that came up that were limiting you? Yes. Would you guys create the business and life that you desire? Yes. Absolutely. And would you have the money and the relationships and the fulfillment you want? Yes. Absolutely. Great job, guys. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.